Thank you so much. Well, a young man from the Middle East who lives in East Tennessee is having trouble right now getting a driver's license.
Yeah, because of persecution in his home country, he was granted asylum status here in the U.S. Now, as he told WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Don Dare, he has a new identity, a new name.
Yeah, Don, has getting his name changed become an issue here?
Yeah, it sure has. He has to get a new work permit that shows his birth name, and it has to be changed, and you'll see that in a moment. For people who come to America legally, there's a lot of red tape with many forms to fill out. The state of Tennessee is required to follow federal immigration rules and standards. The man who called us says the state is making him take an extra step, which he believes is not required. He is a law-abiding foreign national with a temporary Tennessee driver's license. However, to comply with the law, under the circumstances, he relies on his friend, Jennifer Sparks, to drive him around. For nearly 2 months, he's been riding with Ms. Sparks. Habib is his Egyptian birth name. He asked that we not reveal his last name or show his face. We'll explain why in a moment. Recently, he applied for a permanent driver's license, but hit a snag with the Department of Safety.
It's because I changed my name legally, and all what I want is to have my driving license have my name on it.
After the Arab Spring, the uprising in his home country in 2011, Habib said he was persecuted by his own people.
I met Habib in 2009 in Egypt.
Visiting Egypt 10 years ago, Jennifer Sparks hired Habib as a guide. They've been friends ever since.
He's a Christian. I'm a Christian. And I just felt comfortable with him, and from the beginning I knew he's an honest guy.
In June of last year, Habib was granted asylum by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. He is in America legally, holding an employment authorization document or work permit.
The state wants me to change my work authorization.
Your work authorization?
Yes.
Here is where the story becomes complicated. In May, Habib legally changed his name to Daniel Caleb. We've omitted the last name. And he received a Social Security card under his new American name. But the Department of Safety says to get his permanent driver's license, Habib needs to have his old name changed to his new one on the work permit. Yet you say changing your name on this work authorization form isn't necessary?
The Tennessee law and the rules of the Department of Motor and Safety, it says that all what I need to change my name is a court order, sealed and stamped.
Which you have.
Which I have. This one is only issued for you to work. It has nothing to do with driving license.
And I feel really bad for him. I feel ashamed, actually. I do. I feel ashamed of, I know when I went to his country how I was treated very well. And I feel like here he doesn't get the same thing.
As soon as they looked at the work authorization, they told me immediately, you need to change your name here before you change your license. So now my argument with them is, that's not according to the law.
6 on Your Side assisted Alan Clark last month clear up a case of mistaken identity when he tried to have his driver's license renewed. The Department of Safety quickly renewed his license when the circumstances were brought to their attention. On behalf of Habib, the Tennessee Department of Safety tells us that under a relatively new federal law called SAVE, S-A-V-E, the Immigration Services verification process requires Habib to update his work permit reflecting his new name before he is granted a driver's license. He already meets the other requirements: new Social Security card and legal change of name. Take that next step if he wants to drive with a permanent license. The cost for that new work permit with the change of name is $500.
I want him to get his legal name on his driver's license and for him to be able to start his new life here in peace because he deserves it.
Now, there are 2 basic levels in the United States legal system, federal and state laws. A federal law applies to the nation as a whole and to all 50 states. And according to legal rules, federal law preempts a state law even when the laws conflict. And Kristen and Bo, Habib is, as you would imagine, disappointed.
Sure.
He plans to go spend that money and get the new work permit because he wants to be able to drive by himself without her taking him everywhere.
Let's hope it works out.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we sure do.
All right, a lot of steps. All right, thank you, Don. And if you have a consumer question for Don, you can always send him an email at ddare@wat.com. You can also call a 6 on Your Side hotline number, 865-633-5974.